Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on the Matt Listhalia Show. Today, I feel like I'm gonna kick off today's episode with I don't know if you guys have ever seen like the Family Guy episodes, but where Peter they do like a news flash of Peter, and it's like, what grinds my gears? And like, I feel like that's gonna be a normal segment in these shows because there are hilarious things that within this niche, within what we do here and why we come together, there are people in the community and there are people that say things that are that, I don't know, grind my gears. So this is oftentimes, and it seems like the theme right now, the theme right now that I've been picking up on is you're enough. Like, you're enough. You're beautiful just how you are, and don't you ever change a thing in that beautiful little head of yours. I hate it. I hate that coddling BS approach to self-help or motivation or grit. Like, I think that it's worthless. I think that it serves no purpose. I think that it's great to tell people that if you try to flip it to the point where like, no, I'm telling people that they're good enough to try. I'm like, okay, that's sure, you're good enough to try. Okay, now that's out of the way. If that was ever a question, now know that you're always good enough to try to not be awful. Like, I feel like that's a baseline understanding. Like, you don't have to accept how absolutely terrible you are at some aspects of your life right now. Do you feel better? Do you feel more ready to engage in the pursuit of betterment and improvement and progress of yourself now that you've been granted the permission, now that you know you're good enough? And this is one of those. I came across this meme, and it said, to the women who are labeled. And so this is already designed to be provocative because it's specifically to the women, but then backed with this aura or aura of support and you're just awesome. But it's to the women who are labeled, and that's real big at top in big black bold letters. And then it goes down into a list where it says, if you're labeled aggressive, keep being assertive. If you're labeled bossy, keep on leading. Difficult? Keep telling the truth. Too much. Keep taking up space. I love that one. It's my personal favorite because what? I don't know. For the women out there, have you ever been told by somebody that matters in the business, by a boss, you're just too much, okay? Listen, like, your personality's really big and it's just a little too much. Like, I just don't see that being a thing, but maybe it is. You know, maybe that's the patriarchy working on my behalf, that I've never seen that. Never in my years of working in the restaurant industry, of working in the automotive industry, of working in from my basic training for the next 12 years in the military, have never seen or never heard that said from a man to a woman in the workplace. And now in a year in sales, never. Like, okay, sure. That is what the definition of straw manning is. It's coming up with stuff. But sure, that's cool. Yeah, keep taking up space. So, awkward. Are you awkward? Are you labeled awkward? Keep asking hard questions, because that's what makes you awkward. Yeah, that's asking those hard questions. Just awkward. It can be. I get the point, and I get the energy. I think that there's a lot of good here. I think the problem is when you take a message like this, which is really, really good, and you try to formulate it and you try to create it and mold it in a way that is to be sent out to the masses. I think that's where I get tripped up on this, because really, truly, I can see each one of these being mislabeled to a woman or to any person. That's part of the thing that grinds my gears about this too. Like, this is true for the dudes out there too, man. Like, if you're being labeled aggressive and you're a go-getter, like, keep go-getting. Same thing for the women, obviously, but that's where I think that this is the problem. Like I was just saying, where structurally this is wrong is that it is a mass blast, and so I feel like this is a great one-on-one tool to use with like a friend, like somebody that you know. Like, man, like I can't believe it. I go to work and I try to be really full of energy and excitement. I try to like lift people up and motivate people, and my supervisor said, you're just a little too much. Like, let's take it down a few notches. And I just feel like that's mean, and I don't feel like I can be me now. Like, if that's a thing that's happening, then this is a great conversational piece, almost instructional for friends to support. Like, hey, listen, you keep taking up that space. What is he going to do? He's going to tell you to stop being excited about work. He's going to tell you to stop coming in with zest and with smiles and high-fiving and hugging people. Like, that's okay. Like, fight each one of those battles. He's on losing ground because you're the one bringing in positive energy at the end of it. And that is infectious. And it's a good thing. And so you can use this as a tool there. But the problem is, so you go back to like the aggressive and keep being assertive. We're getting real dicey here. We're getting to a spot where this is going out to anybody who receives it. And if somebody's at work and they're having a problem that is related to their behavior, whether it's a self-created problem or it's a problem imposed or that somebody has with that person because of the way that they're acting, it's important to understand that there are limits, right? Like you might be having a hard time at work and might be being called aggressive because you're being too aggressive. Like this, I don't know if you're aware. That's possible. It's possible. This is actually a problem for guys and for women. So I don't like this because I feel like it gives people like the easy out to, and here's the thing. You're like, this is a meme. What doesn't really matter, man. It's just someone's going to read it and they're going to feel good and move on. This is the problem. It's an idea. Ideas are extremely powerful. I actually love the movie V for Vendetta. I just watched it again within the last year with Yasmin, and it was so good. It's one of those that you can rewatch. One of those once a year, once every couple of years. You just kind of throw back into the queue because it's so freaking good. But he talks about how ideas are bulletproof, and there's a whole big scene of it at the end. Where he goes into the power of ideas and how invulnerable they are as opposed to humans. And so that's the reason that I take this seriously, is because it's an idea. And what it does is, it's not like somebody's going to go to work and say, oh, I'm going to keep being aggressive in this way because I saw that meme that said that it's being assertive. What it does is it connects those dots. It connects that assertive, the positive connotations that your mind already has with assertiveness, and now it attaches the negative reality, the negative feedback that you're getting from aggression, and it's tying it to it and saying, okay, well, when I'm getting this negative feedback at work, I'm actually tying that to a positive emotion, to a positive connotation with assertion, with assertiveness, and that's an issue. Like you're going to create a very inhospitable environment for progress and growth. And I'm using all of a professional kind of setting, but really this is really great for like interpersonal relationships too. This is really significant there because you don't want to be building up these walls and this foundation of your approach of interaction with others, with collaboration, with communication, with participation, based on this faulty wiring where like you've shortcut the mental process to not shortcut, but you've shorted that I'm sorry, I'm like really trying to work this electrical analogy because in my head it works, and so I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. So if you have like a wire that's running, from a switch to a light, and you flip the switch, that is, you are on, right? Let's say you're being aggressive. I flip my aggressive switch on. So my aggression runs through and the light turns on. The light is my interaction, maybe negative interactions with people where there ends up being yelling and belittling or whatever. Let's call that my aggression. That is the end state of that. So now I've accidentally arced some of that power from that line to this other feeling, or like where it keeps going, where there's assertion, like, oh, but this is good. So this light turns on and it actually goes and it turns on this other light that's in the other room. Like, oh, that's really cool because that was dark over there and now it's lit up. And so that's my analogy. I'm sticking with it. I think it's good enough. It's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. And so that's my concern, is that now every time we go in and we open the door and we're flipping this light switch on, then we're kicking on all of these lights. We're saying, oh yeah, that is not necessarily the best thing. This interaction doesn't really feel good. It seems like they're walking away upset, but look at the other lights that are on. Look at this. I feel great because I'm being assertive, and I know now that light being on is a sign. Like, I know the light in the other room is going to be on because that's how this works. I have the association with assertiveness, and it's good. It's a good thing. And so that's where it gets a little bit dicey and gets a little bit tricky. And I don't want people to get, lost in this, and I don't want faulty foundations. It's like one of the most difficult things to get past is if you've actually, like, the manner in which you engage with the world changes, because the way that you've accepted the reality is what it is. And so when you accept the reality as being something that it's not, like being aggressive and belittling people is assertion, like that kind of false reality, and you operate like that, and you actually get successful to some extent, then you're building up this house of cards essentially, and it's going to come tumbling down because it's not the way you actually get stuff done. It's not the way that you build relationships and you work yourself towards progress. It's not saying that, like, there are plenty of people that do that and have professional success, but then you look at, their stress levels, you look at their interpersonal relationships, and this is all specifically with aggression, but it works with every single one of these that was said and then some. I think what the key component here that I think is missing, and that I think we really need to take into consideration is the concept of asking questions. And I don't mean going and questioning other people and or grilling people or giving somebody the third degree. I really mean that, like, I think part of my problem with this meme or this message is that it takes away questioning. It just justifies. It just says, this is cool. You can be aggressive because it's really being assertive. If you get labeled this, it really means that. Don't worry. Don't ask yourself. Don't ask other people around you about your behavior. Just know that you're a woman. And if someone calls you aggressive, you're just being gosh darn assertive. Don't you dare ask a single question about that. And that's my problem is when you remove the aspect, when you say that it's no longer required or no longer beneficial to ask questions of yourself to verify that what you're seeing is real and the way that you're acting is righteous. And I mean righteous in the way that's, like, most beneficial for you. I think that I love the idea of a self-interested world, not a selfish world. Self-interested. One where I am constantly choosing the things that I like, the actions and decisions that benefit me, because those will benefit the people around me. So if it is beneficial for me to get the promotion at work, then and because I'm going to have more money, I'm going to have more responsibility, I'm going to feel better about myself. That's going to trickle down to my kids and my spouse and everything, you know, like that's going to spread. Like it's going to increase the happiness for everyone. It's going to increase the quality of life for everyone. And so it's drawing the line before it gets to selfishness. It's like, okay, well, I'm not doing this. I'm not stepping on my family in order to do it, right? Like, yeah, we might not get all the time in the world together. That's just part of the game. But I'm not going to be trampling, you know, my kids' dreams and opportunities so that way I can pursue mine, right? It's working with people to accomplish what you want, not having people not getting what you want at their expense, right? That's the difference between self-interested and selfishness to me. So I think being able to go in and question your motives and question what you're doing is crucially important. And I think that there's the power of questioning is so significant that it actually ends up getting taught in, obviously, you know, people who work in interrogations or people that work in intelligence have to become familiar with questioning, and how to question and the power of questions and how to kind of work them along. I had the opportunity to work with some people like that in the military and during my intel time, being able to sit down and kind of talk with them about some of the interrogators and talk to them about how do they formulate the questions and being on what we would call like on the analyst side, which I was on. Basically, we would take all of the pieces of information. Fix that. There we go. We took all of the different pieces, all the data inputs, and so if it was people talking to people, or if it was us collecting information through other means, you know, it's just all of the data points that we use to put together the best course of action, or like to put together the reality for our team. Essentially, we like to view it as like a puzzle, right? And so each one of these data points, so like an interrogation might be a piece of the puzzle. Like, okay, well, they asked this guy questions. This is what he said. Like, okay, well, that's interesting. Like, I wonder if what we can do, you know, how can we work together? How can we collaborate? How can the analysts collaborate with the people who are coming up with the questions? Like, okay, well, there's systems for that. There's, you know, we're all looking for this thing, right? And so, like, as long as the interrogators know that before they're going in, then they can help gear the conversation in a way where we get the answers that we're looking for. We're looking for puzzle pieces that look a certain way, and so we need to know if those puzzle pieces exist and where to find them. And so that's kind of how that works. And that goes to the importance of thinking about the questions and how questions can shape our reality, because the answer to some of those questions can really, really change the game. Were there weapons of mass destruction? I don't know. No. But yeah, no, for the interpersonal side, then, and for yourself, if you can't ask the question, or if you're not encouraged to ask the question, then, you know, you are very likely going to be accepting a false representation of what the world looks like, and how you interact with it. Versus if you have the ability to do it, and you're encouraged to do so. We all have the ability to, but if things like this, if there are memes out there that encouraged questioning, that encouraged introspection, that to me that's crucial. That's way more crucial than saying, because the last part of this I didn't even say. But it's exactly to the point. The last part of the meme was, please don't shrink yourself to make people happy. Be yourself. You're beautiful that way. Holy smokes. You're just perfect. Don't you muss up anything on you. Don't you worry your little head about anything. You're just great, grand, and glorious. Wrong. You're not good enough, man. Like, you're just not. Like, there's so much room between you and your potential. so much room between you of the things that you can accomplish and the people that you can help and the way that you can change your life. It's significant. It's out of this world. It's things you couldn't even imagine. Like, you couldn't even write down right now. If you wrote down what you thought your most grandiose version of life could be, like, you could go so far beyond that. It's not even that line that you draw in the sand to pull a line from Friends. That line, you're so far past the line's a dot to you. Like, it's but that's the reality. That's, the things that we can do. Anyone that's accomplished amazing feats, most of the time you'll hear they have very modest upbringings, astronauts growing up in the middle of the country, not having any interest in science, ended up being people that go out to the space station for like 200 days. Like, there's the things that you can do are your mind is really the limit. And people going out there and saying you're beautiful just the way you are does not help anybody accomplish what they can. It does not help anybody get to that potential that is out there for them. Like, yeah, you're good enough to try. That should be a conversation that's so far in the past. But if we need to have it, if you need to hear that, like, you are. I'm not even saying this to placate or to check a block. Like, legitimately, you right now, you are good enough. You are good enough to dive into whatever endeavor it is you want to do. I would rather have you stumble your head into the wall, fall down the hill, tumble all the way down through all of the things that you're like, I wasn't ready for this, than to sit back and go, like, I don't know, man. It just, like, maybe I shouldn't do that yet and I should just wait. Like, no, fall. Don't think about how you might fall when you do the thing. Like, you're ready to fall down. Are you not ready to fall down? Like, I am. I know I am. I know there are so many things between me and my success that and where I want to end up. There are so many things that I don't know. There are so many big problems out there that I am not aware of, or that I know of, but I don't really know. I haven't experienced them yet. And I am going to fall flat on my face. And I am so excited to do so, because every time I fall, you are going to fall down. No matter what path you choose, no matter what direction you go, you're going to fall. Why not fall down doing what you're passionate about, something that you love? Why would you fall doing anything else? It doesn't make any sense. We just went on a family ski snowboarding trip up to Massanutten, which is a mountain up. I think we're still in Virginia. Maybe it's West Virginia. I don't know. It's somewhere. It's right around here. It's like 2 hours away. And I snowboarded last year for the first time, really ever. I'd snowboarded down like hills in Nebraska, but like nothing real. No real slopes. No, I never skied. Yasmin snowboarded, a handful of times prior to, so she's got a little bit of experience. Audie did her first time last year with me and us, and then the other kids, they all had their first experience. So the two little skied, the two olders snowboarded, and Yasmin and I snowboarded. And fun, ridiculous side note, went down to Black Diamond. That was absurd. That was a decision, and we went down. I'll tell you what, it was fun. It was fun, and I had a lot more control than I thought I was going to have. No, I didn't have a lot. Half of the mountain may have been falling, half of it may have been riding. But it was about half, if not more so, actually up, which, considering the slope, I'm very happy with myself. But I digress. So we went down one of the easier slopes once, Yasmin and I, and then we brought my oldest, Kaylin, with us. And she went down, and she had already taken a couple of hard falls in her lessons, because they all went through their, this is how you snowboard, this is how you ski. And so she went through a couple of hard falls after the lesson, and she's kind of riding the bunny slopes on her own, and she kind of ate snow a couple of times, but she really bruised her butt. And we went, we asked her, like, hey, listen, nobody's required to go up the mountain. Anyone that wants to hop on a lift with us, like, let's do it. Let us know and we'll make it happen. And she said, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Like, she was in pain and she's like, I want to do it. I think I had told her during lunch, I was like, listen, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Like right now, like you got on the board, you went down, you took a lesson, you're going down and you keep going down, and I'm happy with that. If you want to push it and you want to go up, I told her, I was like, I guarantee you, even if you're hurting right now, this was at lunch, so she was already in pain. We were kind of addressing how we were going to take on the rest of the day. I said, 2-3 weeks from now and for the rest of your life, you will never look back on your life and say, man, when we went snowboarding that one year, I chose to go up the mountain, whatever happens, because it hadn't happened yet, whatever happens after that, however that story is completed, there's not going to be a part of that story that exists where you're like, I probably shouldn't have done it. Probably shouldn't have gone up there and tried to go down the mountain. Like, there's not going to be part of you that's going to say like, oh, I wish I wasn't, I wasn't ready. I really wasn't ready. And I really shouldn't have gone up. And I could tell her that, from me going down it and from me watching her on the bunny slopes, there was nothing on it that was too much for her. And so I knew that the worst case scenario is that she's going to go down. She's going to take a couple of tumbles. It's going to hurt. She's going to have emotional reaction. And we're going to have to like very slowly grandma her down the rest of it. And I'll tell you what. So she took all of that in, she soaked it in, and then we went out. And she said, yeah, let's go up. And so we did. We went up the ski lifts, we're talking, we're joking, we get to the top, and we start going down, and she eats it. And she lands on her butt, and she's having that emotional reaction, right? We're already there. And so then she gets up, and she goes again, and she falls down worse. Gets up, goes down, falls again, worse. To the point where we've gone down, the first part's like real steep. It kind of drifts around to the right, kind of hangs a hard right. And we've gone down the steepest part of it, and we've rounded the right. And there's kind of two levels to this. So there's a higher portion, and then there's a lower portion. And it's just kind of the way that it slopes. And so they follow each other in parallel down until you get to the area where the lifts are again. And so we're already like halfway there, we're already like halfway at the end. And it's just a matter of, she's got to get down the rest, like, is she going to do it? How is she going to do it? And in my head, there was no not snowboarding the rest of it. Like, she was going to do it. It was just a matter of, what her attitude was going to be. and so we sat down, we were sitting after her last wipeout, and we're looking at it. And I had just ridden, snowboarded. I just boarded this part of the thing just before lunch. And I remember with the way it was, I was able to give her very specific, like, hey, listen, this is the way that I did it. And I thought about it like this. I keep pressure on the toes and heels down and toes up, toes down, heels up, that kind of thing, and work your way through it. And I guarantee you that this part's it's real pretty level, and you're going to be able to do it. And, we talked through it, and it got to a point when she was like, okay, and she did it, and she got up, and she went 50, 75 feet before going down. And when she went down, it was just because she had picked up too much speed and couldn't get control of the board in a way to slow herself down. But it wasn't even that fast. The wipeout there was good. She was immediately not up on her feet, but immediately like sitting up and like thumbs up, like, yeah, I did it. Like, yes. And then she went down and we talked about it afterwards. I was like, hey, like, you did fantastic. That was a really good job. I'm so proud of you for getting up and continuing to try, because when you think about it, we're on a mountain. And so there's two things that are going to happen. You're either going to go down the mountain with a smile on your face, or you're going to go down crying. Like, either way, you're going down the mountain. Like, there's one result. There's one direction you're going to go. And so you chose to get up and keep trying and to be giving it a good, solid, honest effort that you didn't necessarily have to do. And I was really proud of her for that, for being willing to get up being willing to fight through it. I think that that's, sorry guys, I think that that's, I think it's really important, man. I think it's important to put yourself in positions that things are going to be difficult. I think it's important to get yourself to a place where you're not sure of the world around you, and I think it's really important to get you to be open to ask questions. You know, the minute that you stop asking yourself questions, that you think you know what's going on, you've got it. Like I promise that you're missing this huge gaping aspect of reality. I love the part of this Nako song where he says that I am the master and I know nothing. I am the servant and I know something. And I think that that's really, I think it's really true in the sense that when you're looking to serve, you're not looking to be the person who is in charge. You're looking for a way to like solve problems and to make life better. If I'm trying to serve you, I'm trying to improve your life, right? I'm trying to make life easier for you. If I'm trying to be the master, I don't care. I may not necessarily care about you. I care about my role. I need to make sure that my master level is kept. And if I'm questioning things, how can I be considered a master? If I'm looking for solutions to things, that means that I don't know everything, which means that I'm not the master. Is a way that your brain can process that. And I think that that's detrimental. And I think that can, I think right now, especially, that's really bad. If we look at ourselves in the mirror right now during these holiday seasons, say, you know what? I am enough. I am good enough. I think that this is the worst time you can do it, because this is when we're most primed to get ourselves to do a self-assessment, to do that house cleaning, to take a look inside and figure out what is it that I need changed? You know, what isn't working right for me right now that could be working better, at least, you know, and let me take a look at it. And that's why this particular thing grinds my gears, and that's why today's episode was about this, is because it is not encourage housekeeping. It does not encourage growth. It encourages status quo. And for some people, that's good. As a mass blast out to humanity, to all the women out there who are aggressive, and we want you to be assertive. Listen, just know that you're, just like we talked about last week, you're walking a tightrope. I'm not saying that you need to be walking on eggshells. I'm saying that, like, you need to have your balances. You need to have your moorings. You need to have a central place that you go back to. And for me, and I think for most people, a real solid centralized place to go back to, a central place, is a place of questioning, a place of looking at yourself and asking if what you're doing is working. And you do that best within a framework of goal setting that you can constantly go back to. I'm like, okay, you know, are these actions with these people creating the type of results that I need? No? Okay, well, let me look to adjust. Versus saying, this is the way that I am, and that's good. No. What is good is accomplishing what you set out to accomplish. What is bad is not doing that. Or not at least reassessing and say, like, maybe that's not what maybe striving for that thing wasn't the best thing. Maybe this other thing's the best thing now. But you only do that through self-assessment and through action and going out there. So I encourage you guys, look inside, ask questions. Don't accept your current status of being don't let that be your forever. This is not a permanent state. You know, you have the ability to take action, to commit, to move forward. I love you guys. I really appreciate that you guys keep coming back, and the show is growing. We just had great numbers, and I'm really excited about 2021. I think there's going to be a lot of great things that happen, and a lot of good new content that's coming out your guys' way. So thank you for being here. Merry Christmas, happiest New Year possible, and I will see you guys on the flip side. I'll see you in 2021. Much love. Take it easy, guys.